In the time since our family moved from the city to the country, I slowly transitioned from homeschooling into the workforce. So what would a 17-year-old start saving up for? To build the biggest workshop he can afford, of course. This video is a visual journey of a 2-year project, turning an old garage delivered to me flat pack into my new workshop. This is the basic idea. I know where the workshop is going to go, and it will be sitting on swamp peat soil with no solid ground for a really long way down. So I am going to take short logs treated for sitting in the ocean and push them into the ground, lay a sandy clay base, take my flat pack garage and erect the walls to sit on the logs. Then reconnect the rafters so I can put the roof back on, install the garage door again, and give the building some paint and electricity. After that, I just have to finish the insides. All this sandy clay was free thanks to the farmers we know from church and the recent city housing development. I must say, it may not be wise to take this as a how-to for your situation. Very little land is like this in the world. Please seek lots of advice and test your plan if you are going to do something similar.
We have a bunch of sticks. They're actually pile offcuts. And that's what we're gonna bolt the shed to. We're actually gonna end up moving the pile of sand over here. I want to put some plastic underneath it. I'm going to do my final measurements, and the plan is to actually push them into the ground today.
I previously put pegs in place where each corner log should go. This was just checking measurements again now that I had the garage on location.
If all the measurements are correct, now you need to check if it is square. So I have a square, but obviously this square is not going to work very well. So there is a mathematical equation to figure out if this is square or not. But we have a giant pile of sand in our way. I'm going to have to double check that properly later. For now though, I can try and eyeball it. That's one good thing about these big offcuts. We have a lot of give and accuracy.
We borrowed a tractor from the farming friends down the road, and in the meantime I set up a level line. The issue was I needed a scoop, not forks, on the tractor's front end loader. The last thing to try was digging the grass out from underneath the log, as that creates a strong barrier. But still, the weight of the tractor alone was not enough to push the log into the ground.
I guess we try again later. We'll get the bucket and put some sand in the bucket. If you know anything about foundations, you're probably thinking, what is this kid doing? But hold up. Like I said before, this ground is way different from any other ground that you'd normally work with. If you did a normal foundation on this, you have some serious problems. This is trying to get around that problem.
Notice in this shot how much the camera moves when I drop the pile offcut. That is because how soft the soil is. The water table is also extremely high, so the surface is almost like it's floating.
You're probably asking, if you're digging a hole, why not make it go all the way into the ground? Have you seen how long some of these are? I'm not digging, I can't dig all that out. Plus, there's water down here. You ever tried digging in water? Then you might ask, why don't you just cut the tall ones off? Because I need as much strength to this foundation as I can get. So using the tractor to push them down even halfway compacts the soil underneath it and makes it stronger. That's what I'm doing for all of these. I'm gonna call it a day.
Attempt number 2, this time with scoop. I got a full scoop of sand, which we estimated to weigh up to a ton, since wet sand is very heavy. And we tried again. Next was getting all the pile offcuts to be the same height. The chainsaw method proved to be hard, but this was far better than trying to be accurate with the tractor.
That's one reason why all our piles on the house are kind of angled. It's just really hard.
Another church friend helped me to mark the height to cut on each of the piles with his laser level. I decided I needed to give the chainsaw a try myself. My cut ended up not level and too low, but that was fixable later on. We finished at sunset, with good progress. I could then start putting down a good dirt base around the piles for my plastic. I started to put down the rest of the sand on top of the plastic to protect it, but I ran out of light, and the next day I was going to get the walls ready for reconnection. First thing to do was replace all the bottom boards, as some of them had started rotting. I measured for my new bottom boards and cut them to size. The new boards I bought are treated for applications where the wood will be sitting on the ground. I used stainless steel screws to attach the boards to the old frame. With all my walls laid out, and with new bottom boards, there was only one thing to do next. Start putting the walls up. Thankfully, some homeschool friends who were already over for other reasons volunteered to help us. It would have been extremely difficult with just two of us. I used big screw bolts into a few of the piles to hold the walls in place. Once one wall was up, it was easy enough to attach the other ones.
We have all the walls up. We have the beam up as well. That took 4 guys to lift up there. It was getting a bit too dark. Sorry you couldn't see that. The goal today is to get the rafters up and all these other little bits and pieces. This is what we are using to bolt the bottom plate to the piles.
A benefit to using these is that I can unscrew them at any time.
I'm putting plastic down as a moisture barrier so that the condensation doesn't come through the floor, through the ground, and rust all my stuff.
Next job was installing the rafters. The middle rafters each had a spot for the ends to attach to. Putting the whole garage back together was like building a big 3D puzzle. There were clues everywhere, and as long as I knew generally what the pieces did, it was easy.
You're out by 20 minutes. Keep going. You're down to 10 mils. Still about 8. Are you gonna leave this open, by the way, up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know there was a scientific experiment done where people were more creative in a room with a higher ceiling?
Okay.
There we go.
There was a storm that showed up on the radar, so I had a mad rush to put some tar paper up to keep the heavy rain out of my open workshop. Tar paper isn't made for that purpose, but it didn't break, and it kept the sand from being splashed onto the internal walls.
We're putting up a bit of roofing.
Out of all the thin glass windows on the building, only 2 ended up being broken. I installed this broken one to keep the rain out, until I could get a replacement. There were all sorts of pieces of metal that had to be taken off so the guys I bought the garage from could take the garage apart. So I had to go around and reinstall all those.
So this stuff here goes here, like so.
Here's the problem.
My forge is very hot and heat rises. Currently there's a nice gap to allow hot air to escape. But if I put this stuff up, it blocks that gap.
My solution was to cut vents into the piece myself. 2 cuts long ways at short intervals. Then bend the top out to stop rain coming in. A bit of rust treatment and paint should stop it from corroding. My father and I had a fun time learning and trying to remember how garage doors work.
That looks like it's sat there. I think it is supposed to be flipped around the other way.
Oh, because the wheels, they would roll in the track, which you don't have. But these are the things that your chain, your pulley thing there, motor attaches there.
Sometimes you need to stare at something for a while to figure out what to do next.
Oh no, it would go out, I guess. That works.
No, wait a minute. These things here will keep it from going out. Normally these wheels would sit in the track, Daniel. You need the track. I think it will fall.
Metal frame is right on the edge.
Are you right on the edge there? I'm talking about the green metal frame here. The pile is
Supposed to
holding
be
up.
lower.
Might have to shave a little off the pile.
Only a centimeter off. The rail along there. Looks like there was a rail.
That might explain why there's holes here. You can always hire a garage door company to sort it out for you,
I
right?
don't want to do that. I'm a do-it-yourself guy.
It was necessary to go back and chainsaw the edge of one of the pile offcuts to get the door to fit.
Well, it's not sticking up over there anymore.
I got all the pieces attached and somehow mildly cut myself on a blunt piece of metal. Moving on, I reinstalled the guttering to stop the water running off and washing all the dirt away. Before I could put insulation in the walls, I needed a moisture barrier between the steel siding and the insulation. Since I could not apply it from the outside, I had to apply it from the inside. Thanks to home renovators who listed insulation available online, I got all my insulation for very cheap or free. Using some fancy tape with plastic attached, I covered all the windows to be ready for spray painting.
It's time to prime.
I used an airless electric sprayer for both the priming and the painting. For an uneven surface, like on this building, the sprayer is much faster than rolling or brushing. It is messier, it does require more cleanup, it is possible to use more paint, and you must be connected to electricity. But otherwise, it's great to use. Spraying the primer on the walls took 20 minutes.
Here's a bit of fun we have to work with. Bugs all through the paint. All over there. Hopefully the paint will dry. It's getting a little chilly out here. For some reason paint will sort of melt off, but I think we're gonna be good.
You must stir your paint thoroughly before use.
I woke up and I noticed we're missing the paint on the roof. Thankfully, this side and this side are okay. This side needs some help, but it's still got most of its paint, and it's similar on this side. We are doing a second coat though, so hopefully that means we can get it actually painted properly. That's what I'm doing today.
The second coat turned out great. Don't make my mistake of painting too late into the afternoon when it's cold. There were a few touch-ups to do around the building, like under the plastic on the windows, so I brushed some primer and paint on. I did undertake an experiment of which is easier, taping a window so no paint gets on it, or painting the window and scraping it off later. This is how the scraping went. The paint I chose is a darker color, and you might think it would get really hot inside a steel building, but the paint has an additive in it which helps with that, as well as protects the paint from the harsh sun. This video is not sponsored, just showing you the product I used. Cool Color is the special mix. This time I had my granddad helping me. I primarily reused materials from our house renovations. These new walls would get clad with pallet wood. I decided to split my garage into 3 different rooms. The big section would be the main work area. One of the smaller rooms would be my messy room, where all the grinding, cutting, and painting would happen, and the other smaller room would be my display room of my projects over the years. Day 1 of electricity wiring. I am not doing this myself because I can't legally, but let's show you the progress.
switchboard, wires for lights, light switch, power cable with a light switch, power, lights. The guy working on this is hopefully going to come back tomorrow and finish the wiring. I can dig the trench, so that's going to happen soon for the mains cable. And once that's done, we can hook everything all up, hook the lights up, and get the sign off and be ready to start finishing the actual inside. Here is my mains power cord, and here is my internet cable. The internet cable is for internet, and we have danger tape for putting on top of the power cable. The power box sits somewhere here. I don't just want to put this much, I want to put plenty. Just enough for it to be easy to work with. And then it has to go in the ground too. Why am I doing this, you're probably asking. You see that water tank? That white pipe goes in the ground and comes straight this way. Now if you watched my house video, you know the house came through here. When that happened, this driveway was not super hard and we think it crushed the pipe. So that pipe needs replaced. And we're thinking it's probably easier to shove a pipe through the driveway once rather than in multiple places. And that's a huge problem right there, is how do we get this through there without having a huge problem with our driveway. We can't really avoid the driveway. I mean, look, driveway continues. More driveway all the way over there. That's where the power has to come from. Power box is approximately at this height, and I've got plus accounting for ground shrinkage. And over 10 years, that equates to, gets bigger the longer you wait. Blue internet cord underneath the light there. That's where the modem is. It's gonna go in the same hole, and it has to be in a separate plastic pipe. Otherwise you get electrical interference.
This is the trench with the cables 1 meter down. I also took the opportunity to add a water pipe to the workshop. Unfortunately, I forgot to get video of boring the pipe under the driveway. We hired a company called Hydrojet. They used their extra long water blasters and a vacuum water pump truck to blast a hole under the driveway. I used fiber cement board to line the external walls of my workshop. This was done for 3 reasons. 1, it is fire resistant, and I will be blacksmithing in my workshop. 2, it is one of the cheapest sheet materials you can buy, at least in our country. 3, I think it looks pretty good. I could always paint it later if I wanted. What you see here is probably 1/5 the amount of pallets I used in all.
Here is a wall I completed earlier.
I am using pallet wood because I like its effect, and it's free. I bought some mirror window tinting to protect my stuff from the sun fading it. I measured and cut the pieces to size, and then followed the directions on the box for applying it to the windows. Now to swap out those broken windows. This window was glued in, so removing it had to be done the hard way. This here is acrylic. It is rated for outdoors. The problem is, it's too big, so we need to cut it. I've got this door, and it's going there. I go on a very long explanation about this door. What you should know is we already had this door lying around. And it's got wheels. The wheels on top. There was no track. So what do? At the hardware store and online, sliding door sets just for making a door, a sliding door, is over $100. I found an alternative. This is a gutter channel. Aluminium. Almost the perfect thing I need. If I demonstrate, it's a little tight because the lip here is too big. All I need to do is cut that down. This will get screwed up here. I have added an extra board to push the track away from the wall so the door can hang. If you plan on doing your own painting, please make sure you follow the correct preparation procedure. This room has been fully palleted. So now I want to put some flooring down. I'm going to use vinyl. It's very unconventional here. I have no idea if I would recommend it, but I'm going to try it out, see how it goes. As of releasing this video, the vinyl straight on the sand has worked fine. From here, it was mostly bringing all my tools and supplies in, then organizing them all. A workshop should be a changing and evolving space over time. When a maker gets more tools and materials, upgrades tools, or figures out a better way to do something, that is the point something should change. This video shows a certain point in time, and this workshop will be very different years down the line. I plan for many awesome projects to come out of this building in the future. And with that, here you go. The workshop tour.